Swansea, the second largest city in Wales that is known for both its city and countryside living. A top 10 city in the UK for those who enjoy the good old nightlife. And home of the Swans football team.
Drives it low, comes back out, smashed it! Yes! Come on!
But in 2021, Swansea's police force intelligence conducted an investigation that would collectively add a 52-year prison sentence for this small organized crime group. And in this group stood out one person, a person who had gone viral in 2018 for being Pablo Escobar's cocaine grave sniffer.
Poco cantante, poco cantante.
Now, most of you already know the story of Pablo Escobar, but for those who've been Tom Hanks in it on an island somewhere,
I have made fire!
Here's a brief history of the Colombian drug lord. Before he became the founder and leader of the Medellin cartel, it is said that Escobar prospered as a carjacker in his early 20s, making only minimal cash selling car parts.
$7? Are you fucking serious? This isn't enough for anything. What are you, a 6-year-old?
Escobar moved his way up to the kidnapping world, with one of his most notable crimes being the kidnapping and murder of one of Medellin's wealthiest philanthropists, Diego Echevarria. According to Daniela Echevarria, a descendant of the philanthropist, she claims that the crime was carried out by none other than the notorious Pablo Escobar. It was the mid-70s when Pablo took control of the cocaine trade in Colombia, and not only did he bribe police and government officials with the good old cheddar, he also spent millions on rebuilding poverty-stricken areas of Medellin, and even built himself a prison at one point, which he would eventually escape from. He gave Colombia hospitals, housing for the poor, built football stadiums, wanted to be Colombia's president.
Yo busco la paz y siempre he predicado la paz y he anhelado la paz.
Built himself a 7,000-acre hacienda with a private zoo that you can now take tours on. His hippos even became a problem in Colombia since they aren't indigenous to that area. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that he was also responsible for the deaths of thousands, most being innocent civilians that were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. At the height of his power, Escobar amassed a weekly $420 million, and by the time of his death was worth about $30 billion. Despite the illicit activities he committed, his funeral was attended by roughly 25,000 people, and his rise as the king of coke was etched into historic folklore as the Colombian Robin Hood. Stephen Simmons was a man from Port Talbot but was living in Ibiza, Spain, and after meeting a Colombian woman, decided to go visit her in her home country. And during his 7-month stay in Colombia, he would do what any normal person would do: have fun on an extended vacation. So when he decided to go through with a bet, his life would be changed forever.
Forever.
Simmons was drinking with one of his buddies one April day when he was asked if he wanted to visit Pablo Escobar's gravesite, and of course he went. While visiting Escobar's grave, Simmons' friend bet him 200 pounds to snort a line of cocaine on Pablo's headstone. And what happened?
I'm Gordon Ramsay, mate.
Well, his buddy filmed the whole thing on Facebook Live and pretty much instantly went viral, with many Colombians not appreciating the disrespectful gesture. Simmons would later go into a bar where the video was essentially plastered on the television screen, to which bar patrons began shouting at the screen, and what did Simmons do? He also began shouting at the TV to divert attention away from himself. And it worked. The story is that he supposedly hid in the mountains of Cartagena and even shaved his head so he wouldn't be recognizable, since he was getting threats of being skinned alive if he was found by cartel members. Though Simmons claims the stunt was done out of respect and apologized for his actions, he was eventually caught by the police,
Spread your shit! Get on the ground!
forced to leave the country, and got the ban hammer for the following 5 years. So let's start in chronological order, at least to the best of my knowledge. Cops pull over Andrew Botto for allegedly talking on his cell phone, and while he was trying to convince his way out of a ticket, cops would find $3,000 in cash that would inadvertently drive an investigation towards him. Cops search his property to find a lockup container with a substance Botto claims he was only storing for someone and would be paid upon collection. He's sentenced to 5 years in prison. Simmons snorts cocaine off the grave of the once notorious drug kingpin Pablo Escobar and plasters himself across news outlets around the world, is banned from Colombia for the next 5 years, and moves back to Spain. Shane White receives a video advertising the 9 kilograms of cocaine he would be receiving from Spain. Sporting a Batman logo with a note in Spanish saying, "For the friends," the sender would be Steven Simmons. Simmons claimed to have received the kilos from a Colombian connect. Police run an undercover investigation and tell Andrew Botto on numerous occasions to a lockup container on suspicion of supplying a Class A drug. Officers arrest Botto and search the lockup he frequented. Police find a kilo of cocaine which was forensically linked to Botto. Steven Simmons sends his 5 kilos to Shane White embossed with an Ace of Spades logo. Shane White would be arrested and charged 2 days later during Phase 1 of Operation Wizard. Steven Simmons is arrested during Phase 2 of the investigation and is also charged with serious drug offenses. The head of the organized crime group was Shane White, with Steven Simmons supplying the cocaine from Spain. Ian Williams delivered the kilos of cocaine to customers like Andrew Botto and would collect any drug debts for Mr. White. Richard Gerard supplied White with coke when he was running low on his stash. All 5 men were sentenced to collectively serve 52 years, and here's what each of them were charged with. This was a crazy story in which I didn't expect to find so much with such a short live-streamed video, and I can't help but think that this video almost fueled the investigations of Operation Wizard. Detective Inspector Russ Jenkins from the Force Intelligence and Organized Crime Unit had this to say about the investigation. This was a complex and protracted investigation, which resulted in the successful prosecution of a number of organized criminals. The web of conspirators were spread far and wide, crossing national borders and continents. As a direct result of this investigation, South Wales police are still actively engaging with other UK police forces and the National Crime Agency, along with our international partners, to disrupt the activities of those who seek to flood the streets of South Wales and the wider UK with cocaine. And that's that. The story of Pablo Escobar's cocaine grave sniffer.
Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar. Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar.